just stop asking, stop hoping, and just start doing this instead, because there's a lost ritual that speaks directly to the quantum field. And it has nothing to do with words. You just touch in a certain place, you breathe in a very specific way, and you are going to feel the miracles unfold in your life. This is really the prayer that you were never taught, and once you try it, you will never beg the universe again. Gregg Braden was once a NASA-trained scientist, and he left it all behind. He wanted to use his scientific mind to find the lost science of prayer, from Himalayan monasteries to remote Native American traditions. He was decoding the lost science behind how to actually pray. And what he discovered is a forgotten technique that really has a power to reshape your reality immediately. And it started in the heart of the American Northwest. It was during one of the worst droughts in recorded history. There's no rain. And Gregg finds himself standing next to a Native American medicine wheel. And he was invited by a Native American elder named David. And David invited him to come pray for rain. What happened next was strange, and it will really redefine your entire understanding of reality and your relationship with the universe itself. Now, as they approached this Native American medicine wheel, David took off his leather boots and put his feet directly on the ground. And he stepped in the center of the wheel. He closes his eyes and he forms a sacred prayer mudra in the front of his chest. And he just stands there quietly. And then without saying a word, he turns over to Gregg and he goes, "Hey, I'm hungry. You want to go get some lunch?" Gregg's like, lunch? I thought you brought me here to pray? And David's like, no, I already prayed for rain. If I pray for it the way you think, then it will never happen. Because if you're asking for something you don't have, you're affirming that it doesn't exist. Now, think about that. The moment that we ask for something, we simultaneously affirm that we can't have it. And in that way, we're sending a signal to the quantum field that reinforces the lack, not the fulfillment of our desires. And in the realm of quantum mechanics, reality mirrors back whatever you hold in your heart. So Gregg's standing there confused. He's like, then what did you just do in the circle? And David's like, when I closed my eyes, I felt the rain. I felt my bare feet in the mud of my village. I smelled the scent of the rain, all that beautiful desert rain smell. I imagined it actually nourishing our cornfields. I could feel myself breathing in and out as the water was hitting my face. And I was just so thankful that it was raining. I gave thanks, not for the future, but for what was already there. Prayer is a state of being. It's not a plea. And this really flips everything you know about prayer on its head. It's a state of being. It's a moment of emotional alignment with your desire. And here's the thing. There's a huge difference between praying toward an outcome you want and beginning in the place where the outcome is already here right now for you. You can want money, but if you want and pray toward a future, then you're guaranteed to stay stuck financially. You may want to attract your soulmate. You want to fall in love. But if you're praying toward a future, you're always going to be single. You're always going to be wishing for your soulmate. So in other words, Gregg is guiding us toward praying from a place of coherence and congruence between our desires and our feelings. And as he points out, this is actually proven. It's not metaphysical. It's proven by science. In 1991, scientists made a discovery that really changed everything. They found a neural network inside the human heart. So biologically, the heart has its own form of intelligence. And when we harmonize the neural network in the brain and the heart, we enter into what's called heart-brain coherence. This is just really when your mind has a desire that you're praying for, but your heart already feels the gratitude for it. Instead of wishing and hoping and praying and feeling the lack and absence of it and asking for it. That's when you enter a state of coherence between your mind and your heart. And there's a very simple technique that Gregg teaches while you are praying. So you touch your heart, you just place your hand gently over it, and go like this or with your finger, and your awareness goes to the place where you touch. And then you breathe in nice and slow to that exact location. And just feel those breaths, they slow your body down. That's telling your body that you're safe. You're no longer in survival mode. And when you're safe, your body flips a switch. With each breath, the stress chemistry turns off, and then the grace, the peace chemistry, that turns on. And that's the doorway into brain and heart coherence. That's where you pray, not from ego and separation and lack, but from the intelligence of your heart. Because the heart isn't a polarity organ. It doesn't loop in fear and logic. Your heart just knows, right? You know when you're in love. And if you think about this, this aligns perfectly with the teachings from ancient sacred texts before they were actually edited from the 4th century during the reign of Constantine. Now, Braden, he points out there's over 40 books that were removed and altered from early Christian teachings, including teachings that actually give precise instructions on how to pray correctly. Now, thanks to the Dead Sea Scrolls and other ancient manuscripts and texts, we found a lot of these lost teachings. Like, for example, you've heard the phrase, "Ask and ye shall receive, that your joy may be full." But Gregg points out that the original Aramaic translation, it's very different. It says, "Ask without hidden motive. Be surrounded by your answer. Be enveloped by what you desire, and your gladness may be full." It doesn't say to beg. It doesn't say you need to speak really loud and ask a lot. It says to be surrounded, to live inside the outcome, and to be enveloped by what you desire. And that's what David did, right? He didn't just ask for rain. He stood in the mud. He was enveloped in his desire. He entered the spirit of it through his heart. This intentional emotion really shatters reality when you pray like this. And then consider in Switzerland the twin photon experiment. So scientists took a single photon and then they split it. So they had 2 identical photons. Then they sent each one 7 miles apart in opposite directions. And when they altered one of the photons, instantly, with no time delay, the other one would do the same thing. So they were connected. How? Through something called entanglement, quantum entanglement. It just means that distance is an illusion. Connection is already present. You're already connected to what you want. Gregg tells a story at one of his seminars. Some lady's like, "How do I pray for my children from my living room when they're across the country?" You don't. The prayer is already there. Your job is just to create the feeling, not to worry about if or when it arrives. And then the universal field of intelligence takes care of the rest for you. So the key to prayer, it's not in words and it's not in effort. It's actually about assumption. Neville Goddard says, you must make your future dream a present fact by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You feel it in your senses. You smell it, you taste it, you touch it, you stand in it as if it's already real. Whether you're praying for healing, for financial abundance, for love, for peace, you don't beg the universe to change. You create a coherence with the frequency. And I know that sounds like kind of abstract. It's hard to totally conceptualize. So let me just tell you a crazy story of how well this works. Now, when I was a freshman in college, I was reading all these Gregg Braden books and Wayne Dyer books, and I decided I wanted to drop out of college. And I was just going to do some vagabond backpacking around the world, and I was going to write a book about it, and I was going to become a big author just like Gregg Braden and Wayne Dyer and Bob Proctor. Now, I was denied by every single publishing company, every single one that I went to. And I had to self-publish my book. Now, the odds when you self-publish a book of it becoming successful, you almost have a better odds at winning the scratch-off lottery. About 98% of self-published books don't sell 2,500 copies in a lifetime. And I, mind you, I'm told all of this stuff. Like, hey, you got to sell. This is like 1% of people are going to make it. They said, if you sell 10,000 copies, then you will launch your career. I'm like, all right. So what I started doing is going to Barnes & Noble. And my last name is Ducey. Wayne Dyer, Ducey Dyer are right next to each other. And they have those little leather chairs in the aisles at Barnes & Noble. I would sit in those chairs and I would take my self-published book and I would put them in the bookshelves as if they were sold at Barnes & Noble. And I would go through alphabetically and put it right next to Wayne Dyer's, where it would be in reality if this was real. And I'd sit there and I'd close my eyes and I'd practice all the excitement. You put your hand right here with whatever it is that you want. Maybe it's a certain job you want. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's healing. Maybe it's your soulmate, your dream house, something for your children, your family. Maybe it's an emotional thing. You put your hand here and you breathe into it. And once you feel your body start to relax, you're starting to enter that coherence between your heart and your brain, the neural pathways in your heart and your brain. And once I would enter that, I would just practice getting super freaking excited that my books were next to Wayne Dyer's. I would imagine opening up my Instagram and seeing direct messages from people sending me screenshots like, yo, I'm in Chicago and I just found your book right here next to Wayne Dyer's. And I would just imagine that over and over. And then I started taking fake checks that I would write to myself from book publishers. And I would just start carrying them around with me. And I was practicing getting excited that I got my first big book deals, and they were giving me cash advances. Now, the crazy thing is, I ended up selling 10,000 copies of that self-published book without a marketing strategy, without spending money on advertising. Just things started happening. Things fell into place. I'd get this big speaking gig out of nowhere, or some radio thing that I thought nobody would listen to during an interview, but one person on it listened to it. And then I go to a coffee shop at an open mic and one person's there, but that one person's mom organizes a TEDx event. And then I do that. And then my book starts selling a whole bunch. The next thing I know, Penguin Random House, the #1 English publishing company in the world, is giving me cash advances for future books and distributing my books in Barnes & Noble and translated in other languages. And they're right next to Wayne Dyer's on the bookshelf in the same genre. It's crazy if you think about it. It's just that we get so used to not getting what we want that we don't understand it is this simple. And one of the keys is to start to reprogram your subconscious, because Your subconscious is really where 95% of your mental activity happens. So if you can reprogram your subconscious to be in alignment with what you want, that's how you're really going to master the heart and brain coherence. And I have a free success hypnosis. It's pinned to the comments and in the description right there down below. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's my free success hypnosis, or you can click right here as a little pop-up. What I recommend is practice this prayer technique. Close your eyes, bring your hand to your heart, and practice entering the feeling. What it really genuinely feels like to be answered and to be heard and to know that you don't need to beg, you don't need to hope, and you don't need to wait, that it's already here. That quantum entanglement that science has proven, you're already connected to what you want. And then just let my success hypnosis play in the background, just real softly. So then at the same time, you're engaging your 5 senses and you get directly into the subconscious mind. When you follow this and you just do this just for a minute, 2 minutes, it only takes a few seconds to shift the feeling. And the feeling is the prayer. And when you do this over and over for 60 seconds, 120 seconds, for 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, 60 days, you are going to be amazed at what falls into your lap and what comes into your life with far less effort, far less struggle than you expected and anticipated and that you were taught. None of that is true because you're already connected to what you want. It's just waiting for you to align with it through vibrational coherence. So here's the thing. David didn't pray for rain when he was with Gregg. He became the man who had already received it and already felt the rain. And the universe, the quantum field, it responds accordingly when you do this. So the next time you pray, you don't have to ask for it. You just have to feel the mud beneath your feet. You have to feel the excitement of slipping the key into the front door of your dream house. You taste the salty air as you feel yourself driving down the Pacific Coast Highway in your new dream car with the windows down and you're listening to your favorite song. You feel the sand on your knees as you bend down and propose to your dream wife that you haven't even met yet. You feel the tears just fall off your face as like this, you can taste the salty taste of your tears while you're sitting in the doctor's office and they're letting you know that you had a medical miracle. You feel the goosebumps on your arm as you hear your boss's deep voice call you up in front of the whole office and announce your new promotion and your big increase in salary. This is how you pray. And when you do it, things happen really fast. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Give me a comment down below that says, I'm already connected. I'm already connected. You're already connected to what you want. And if you enjoyed this video, you can click here to watch another one. Make sure you check out my free success hypnosis, jakeshypnosis.com. It's pinned to the comments and in the description right there down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and hit the bell notification to join our community. Have a beautiful day.